putting in a hand up could be interpreted as a cautionary, meaning, warning, don't use this backwards as the rest of the stashes are, use it forward. But the color red is a denotation of forward for direction. And there are other colors that are used to mean other things. There are some symbols. There's a crescent moon that is oftentimes used as a warning for a booby-trapped stash. Crescent moon like this as a warning. So sometimes you go into a cave and you'll see that in a Knights of the Golden Circle cave or alleged cave. You'll see that in there. That was one of the warning symbols that for their own people that it was booby-trapped, if the booby trap was not obvious. On a lot of the markers on stones, you'll have marks on there that indicate bearing, direction, and distance. Some of the marks on there will indicate whether or not there's a booby trap there and what is the nature of the booby trap. This is all part of their code. They were very methodical with what they did. They had specialists that did nothing but hide treasures. They had teams of people to hide these things. It has been alleged that Gustav Eiffel, the designer of the Eiffel Tower, was brought to this country to design the supporting framework for these massive caves that they had so they wouldn't collapse in on them. Some people would say that's an awful far-fetched allegation. Not really, not when you understand that the Knights of the Golden Circle had their beginnings in Europe, particularly in France and England, where they started from. There are stashes in France and in England. There are stashes in Canada, there are stashes in Mexico, there are stashes in Cuba, there are some in South America and some in Central America, because they were preparing for this massive move to the Golden Circle. They not only had to seize the United States, but as soon as they were done taking the United States and breaking the Union apart and seizing the South with their own government, their next move before anybody would realize what took place was to take the Golden Circle. Before any other government could object, they wanted to be in a place of preparation where once this was done, that was done in the blink of an eye before anybody could possibly stop them. Yeah.
Can you give us what some of the other colors mean?
Not off the top of my head. There are too many details that just, at one time I could have recited them backwards, but now I can't even remember what president was involved in the treason trials, and that was a major event. And I used to know not only what the president was, but the prosecuting attorney and the defending attorney. I used to know all the names, and just, I've got notes and notes and notes on it. Hang on, yes.
You say there's stashes in Canada.
Yes.
Why would they care about Canada?
When the Knights of the Golden Circle wanted more funding to pursue their efforts, they cut deals with Canada and England and France of saying, when we win the Civil War, or when we overthrow and take the country, in exchange for your backing us up with your finances or your people or your cooperation, we will give you designated sections of the United States that you've wanted for a long time. All right? And this is a matter of historical record, that these deals were made. Canada was offered certain territories, certain real estate. So was France, so was England. There were deals cut with many different nations. As a matter of fact, if you read in history, you'll find out that it appeared that France and England did not want to recognize the Confederate States of America, and they were balking at it. When you dig far enough in history, you'll find that just the opposite is true. They were at a point where they were ready to recognize the Confederacy, but they had to make it appear on the surface that they were fighting it and objecting to it, until a certain point when everything was in preparation, when they would finally recognize the Confederacy. There's a lot in history that people don't want found. It's in the books if you know where to go. It's in the old documentation. It's in diaries. It's in personal ledgers or personal journals that were kept by people both in the North and South. The information is there to back this up. But it becomes an embarrassment for an awful lot of people and countries.
Yeah. You asked a question?
You asked a question? Or you? Okay. I knew it was there somewhere.
What state or states do you feel have the most treasure, would be the best to look?
Okay, the question is, what states would you go to look in this? We're going to go from this right into the stash of the Knights of the Golden Circle. We're going to take a break for a little bit, let the other people get here and give you guys a break to get a soda or whatever you like. There are, she's telling me that I gotta quit pretty quick here. Otherwise I'll go on all night. Ohio, Zanesville, Ohio was a real hot spot for KGC activity. There's markers all over it. All the way around Zanesville. There's a couple other cities. Canton, Ohio was also Knights of the Golden Circle, a hotbed as they would call it. The states, as I mentioned in one of the classes, the states that are best to look at are the states with caves. And it's about that simple. All the states in through here, where you've got a lot of caves, are the best states, and I'll come back to that in the next class. Yes?
I'll give you a minute to change tapes, and then you can start talking about, or continue where you are.
Okay, we're at 10 o'clock, so why don't I take a break and let the other people that want to be here, and...
Stay where you are, because it's going to start again. One side. I change tapes. Then it's 10 and class starts.
Well, what are you paying me to take a break?